Oh, that's Facebook.
Yeah,
Dang, am I
Facebook be tripping.
recording too?
Facebook could take a whole bunch of other steps that, not a
I
whole bunch,
hope.
but
I
more
hope.
than I feel
I
like
hope.
I
I
want to
hope.
do.
I am. Hope I'm recording.
So where are you going live to right now?
Allegedly, I am live on. I am live on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. I was
My
supposed to check
audio
YouTube.
is coming in pretty bad though.
I say I can hear you, but it's like I just can't hear you
I gotta turn
super
my mic
loud.
up some more. I guess. There we go. Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Okay. So now I gotta check the YouTube to make sure we're good. Good people on YouTube and Instagram. Bear with me.
Woo woo.
Bear
Whoop
with
de
me.
woo woo. Two.
So I am not live. Oh, because I didn't hit go live.
Yep, you gotta hit that on Instagram.
Yeah. So maybe I'll be live now. Okay, cool.
Yep, you gotta hit that on Instagram.
Okay, cool. Um,
Winning.
we Gucci.
Welcome back.
All right.
Trina, you got
What's
options
up? What's
today.
up? What's up,
You could be
everybody?
in my live, you can be in Ryan's live.
I've got so many screens going on right now that it's giving me a little bit of anxiety. So everybody on the live, bear with me. I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed.
Let me look at yours right quick.
All right, I got an echo, so I need to fix that. Hold
You
on,
do?
good people. That's what my brother said.
Oh
Well,
yeah, you do on my side.
I guess it's just reverb.
Okay.
I guess it's just reverb.
So my question is for Ecamm, do you have the Zoom guest on, or do you have your all systems audio muted on the sound levels?
I don't have system audio set up at all. I don't
Okay.
have it on. So only thing that's on is interview guests and Zoom guests. Say something else.
I'm gonna say something else.
All right, cool. So hopefully we be good to go. Thanks for joining everybody. How everybody doing?
I sound like I'm in a tunnel.
We're gonna have to go ahead and get through this technical difficulty
It's
part.
okay. It's okay.
Y'all know a fun fact about me? I have zero patience when it comes to technology. I've got all the patience when it comes to people. Did you know that, Abby?
I have I have the opposite. You give me a tech issue, I'm gonna run with it.
Nah, I'm not really
We make it
patient when it
happen.
comes to
I'm gonna figure
technology.
that thing out.
For some reason or another, I just feel like it's supposed to work
It will
because it's
get
supposed to
figured.
be
Trust me.
predictable. People are unpredictable. Um, things are not. Okay, we got somebody. We got some people in the YouTube chat. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Hey, CJ on YouTube say he over there eating a burrito.
Enjoy your
I
burrito.
don't know how that made my day. All right, cool. Let's get into it, Abby. What's up? Why? Whoa. Where were you at last week? First of all, because you sent me a text and
Last
you was
week
like,
I was behind on my work, and I was like, I gotta get it together,
so you
so I
bounced
wouldn't
on
be
your
on
boy.
here. I did, I did, but I'm back.
Well, we did a
I'm
fantastic.
back.
We did a fantastic. We did a fantastic live last week. It was dope.
Yeah, who'd you go live with?
Yeah. Um, I can't remember. I just remember how I felt. It felt good. I can't remember what we talked
Okay,
about, but it was good. It was real good.
I'm proud of you.
Um, appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So, um, what you got going on this week?
Well, last week, just a little update. Had another birthday.
Happy
Praise the
birthday!
Lord. Appreciate
Happy
it.
birthday! How old you turn?
I turned 37.
Let go. Let's go.
37. Up in
Well, happy birthday.
his peace.
Happy belated.
Appreciate
What
it.
day was it on specifically?
It was on. Jesus. It was on Wedding's Day.
It was on Wednesday.
Thank you. Wedding's Day. Last Wednesday
Oh,
was my
what
37th
what was
birthday.
the date? What was the date?
The 29th of January is
January
my date of
29th.
birth.
Cool.
Born.
Cool.
Correct.
January 29th. Happy birthday.
When is your date of birth?
March 20th. That's my birthday.
Really?
Yeah, that's my birthday.
There we go.
We haven't talked in a whole week.
Chanel says that your birthday, either my birthday or your birthday, one of them is close to his cousins. We happy for
Okay, cool.
everybody celebrating birthdays.
Dope, dope. So, Super Bowl coming up this week.
Yep.
We got some stuff coming up this week in in the business. We got an event coming up this weekend. We've got some deliverables that we got a speaker reel we're gonna deliver this week. We do speaker reels, Abby. Did you know that?
I know
Are you
that you are
multitasking right
capable
now?
of a lot in terms of your off. I'm listening to you. I said I know you're capable of a lot. You're talking about the speaker reel. I've seen you put things together. I've seen you do same day edits, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, we do speaker reels.
That is one of your offerings. There we go. And I know y'all probably do really good ones, right?
We think so, but
You're not busting it.
you know, we'll see.
And your clients also probably think so too, because they're paying you right there.
Huh?
I said your clients think so too. They're paying you.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So we got that coming up this week. This week I introduced my team to Perplexity and Notebook LM.
Okay, I've heard of both. I haven't played around with them enough.
Perplexity, I use Perplexity like Google. So anything that I want to know, I'll just type it in Google. I mean, you know how you would Google something. Perplexity, it just goes, it's like AI, but it searches the web for whatever it is you're trying to find. And it'll go and it'll generate an answer for you, but it's based on all of the sources that it gathered from the internet. But the cool thing about it that I like is that it also gives you the references. So for each answer or for each line, it'll tell you this is where we got it from. This is where we got it from. And that's useful to me because I like to know where my information comes from. It's also useful because it even references YouTube videos. So it'll go looking on YouTube for stuff if you wanted to find something on YouTube. And so yeah. So I like that. So I've been using that. I've been between Perplexity and then Notebook. Notebook, imagine if you had a chat GPT that could not see the outside world. It could only see what you gave it to pull from. That's what Notebook is. It's like you provided all of the sources and it'll search for answers and correlations between the sources that you gave it. So one thing that we use it for is planning for our events. So this upcoming event this weekend, we got the run a show in there as a source. We've got all of the conversations that our internal team has had and that we've had with the client. We've got all of that in the sources. And so if I ask it to generate for me a if I ask it to generate for me a if I ask it to generate for me a brief of the event, it's gonna pull only from that information. It's gonna give me a brief and it'll let me save it as a note. The other cool thing that it does is it generates a podcast. You can generate a podcast episode with it where it'll have two AI people talk about all of the content of the sources. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I heard about it from it. Yeah,
It's fire. So
and it like sounds legit.
yeah. And so what I like about it is I like it because I can generate a brief, generate the content, give my team access to the notebook, let them play, they can play the audio and listen to it. And in 20 minutes, they can get an overview of 30 hours of source material, you know? So I think that's super dope. CJ wants to know how can he be on the show. I don't know, CJ. We can figure it out, bro. I don't know. I'm just learning. I'm just learning
You
how to do
literally,
this.
so you know we
I
on
can
Zoom.
just jump them in. I can let them join the Zoom.
Yeah, you just throw them in the Zoom link, and then you just gotta reconfigure your joint.
Okay, cool. Cool. We'll add you to the show. We'll see if we can add you to the show in a minute. I still feel overwhelmed a little by the technology we got going on here.
But you're doing good.
Yeah. Speaking of, so what are your thoughts on what? First of all, you said you were a little bit behind last week, right?
Yep.
What were you behind on?
Because I repurpose content for my clients, somebody needed some things just ahead of time. So they needed a couple weeks of stuff, and I was like, all right, cool, I just gotta bang it out. So it was more of I needed extra time to kind of get that straight. So I kind of had to make sure that the folks are happy. So yeah, I needed to take a little bit more time to focus on getting them things ahead of time.
Okay.
It's time management on my side. So,
What
and
were
I think it was
Go ahead.
yeah. So I think I try to use my weekends as weekends. So I just needed that Monday to kind of catch back up on the weekend, make sure everything was good to go.
I got you. Is there something showing up on the screen? I don't know what that is. Oh, I had posted a comment on the thing. So, are you still repurposing content for your people?
Absolutely.
Okay. You still having fun?
I'm having fun as long as it is something that I'm also interested in. So I service a lot of educators. So serving educators, because I'm an educator myself, it also helps me learn new things. So I don't feel like I'm just doing random content about things that I don't actually care about. I like the fact that my clients are being able to, teach the kids that I'm not, or encourage the teachers that are teaching the kids in the classrooms that I'm not in anymore. So in a sense, I'm a lifelong learner. I will always be. And so, yes, I'm still having fun with it. I'm looking to continue to build out in a team aspect, which is what I appreciate about you, is that you do a great job with team building. And I'm looking to get better at that myself, to have a team that can support me in the things that I do. Are you having fun with your work?
That's a really good question. So,
Is it a requirement? Is it even something that we need to do?
what? Have fun?
Do we need to have fun with our, is having fun with your work, your career, is that a part of the thing, or do we just
Yeah.
need to make money
Because
and
if
be
you're not
grateful that
having
we got a
fun,
job?
if you're not having fun, why are you doing it? I mean, you could say, well, we're doing it because we need to make money, but we could just get a job if we want that life. It'd be much
That's
easier to
correct.
just go to work. So, yeah, I think you do need to have fun. I have fun. What I
Well,
was
as a
thinking
business
about,
owner,
yeah, for sure. So, like, what I was thinking about when I paused, when you asked me if I was having fun, what made me pause was, yes, I'm having fun. I'm having a blast, but I had to think about what am I having fun doing? Because
okay,
because the the entire thing is fun. It's fun. There's there's some like macro at a high level. It's really fun. On a small level, like in the micro, some stuff that I gotta do really ain't fun. But it's fun. It's fun to it's fun to have to do stuff that's not fun. Like
okay,
because that's a part of the process of it's cool to me to be able to do something that I really don't want to do because it benefits me long term and I know exactly how it benefits me long term. I'm clear on that. So that's fun. That's really cool to me because it feels like I have control and I like control. So that's the fun aspect. Shooting and editing is fun too, but there's other things that I do that are as fun as shooting and editing because they're a part of the process. They're part of the process of moving the business forward. So
right,
so it's fun like growing as a person. A lot of people have a problem with a lot of people that I've talked to, they've been stuck over indexing on the stuff that they like to do. So like they automatically default to doing more of what they want to do. Um, and they avoid doing the thing that they don't want to do. And all of a sudden they feel bad about doing it. And all of a sudden they don't feel bad about doing it, but somehow like they don't feel good all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? So like, um, I've I had a recent experience, but I've also had other experiences working with people on like the content creation thing, even myself. Like creating content when there's a video that you can do and then you want to like get you want to do that video, but all of these things got to be right before you do it, right? We got to get the lighting together, we got to clean up the background, we got to do all of this stuff before we're ready to do it. But in the short term, all of those are procrastination activities. And I say that because you should know that you're gonna make content today, yesterday. And if you know that, then you should set your lighting up. You should set everything up so that you're ready. If you need to update notes
Yeah.
or whatever the case is, you need to do that ahead of time, before time. Because when it's time, you don't have time to do all that. When it's time, you actually gotta just do what you were supposed to do. And I, at one point in time, was really good at procrastinating and calling that a reason for not getting my videos done or for not doing whatever the case is. But if we're being real with ourselves, how you feel is valid, but your business don't care. So because your business doesn't care, let's step by step our way through getting whatever we trying to get done. Let's step by step it. Let's not explore anything other than the mechanics required to get it done. Okay? So let's take this example into, like, let's use this example for Ryan recording his YouTube videos. Okay? Ryan, you need to record YouTube videos. Okay? Well, Ryan wants to have the topic okay. He wants it to be edited well. He wants it to have the right thumbnail. He wants it to have all these things. Cool. Great. Well, the day that Ryan needs to record YouTube videos is not the day that he needs to come up with YouTube video topics. It's not the day that he needs
That's
to
correct.
outline a video. So if it's video time and you haven't outlined a video, Ryan, turn on the camera, connect the mic, light yourself, hit record, choose a topic quickly, and talk about it. Go on Perplexity, go on ChatGPT, find a topic, find some bullet points, make sure that those things are things that you know, and talk. It's probably going to be the most trash video that you've made because you didn't plan it. But let that be a deterrent for you to not prepare, because no matter what, you're going to do what you said you was going to do, which is record that YouTube video. So that's one of those things that keeps that those are one of the things that really make it easy to do well in business, is that all the other competition have struggles doing little things like that. Like they don't have the ability to not take how they're feeling emotionally. Most people take how they're feeling emotionally as a sign that they don't need to do what they said they was gonna do. But it's only with ourselves. We only do that when it's something that we got on our calendar, a meeting with us. Because we still go to work regardless of how we feel.
That's
I know
correct.
I know people that go to work sick. You need to stay home. They still going to work. You feel me? So, but when it's us, it's like, dang, for this next hour, for this next hour, I'm supposed to be, um, I'm supposed to be planning out my week for this hour. But I'm gonna watch a little more TV, and then I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it in the next hour. So I need to do it at 5, but I'm gonna do it at 6. Then 6 o'clock comes around. And it's like I'm gonna give it 15 more minutes, and then I lost your video.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Um, so when 6 o'clock comes, you say, okay, well I'm gonna give it 15 more minutes, and then I'm gonna do it. And then 6:15 comes, you get up to do it, and then you get a phone call, and it's important. So you jump on the call. 7:15, you haven't planned,
And now
and
you hungry.
you hungry. So you need to get some food. Everybody know it be taking about 30 minutes to figure out what you want to eat. Cause if you're not doing stuff that you're supposed to do, you're probably not meal prepping either. So you gotta find food. You go find food. Now you got the itis.
Everybody know
Now
you
you want
gotta
to
take
lay
a nap.
down. Now it's like, all right, cool. Let me just lay down now. So the next day, you don't know. You start the day not knowing what you're gonna do. So you lay in bed and think about it. So instead of getting up at 6 when you wanted to get up, you get up at 8:39, and then you go to, because you're an entrepreneur. You on your own time,
Got
and
the liberties.
so you scroll till 9 a.m. and you still haven't planned the day or the week, but the day's already started, so you feeling pressure to figure out what to do with that day. Because you didn't plan at 5 o'clock like you were supposed to.
So here's the thing. You've been describing people who are also single without families and kids.
Huh?
I said you've been describing also what I would assume is people who are single without families and kids as well.
Oh, don't have
You're
no
adding that family
kids.
dynamic. I'm about to say it's over with.
Don't have no
Because
kids.
you needed to get all that stuff done while they was at school. Now they
And,
back and they want to
and
play.
yep,
And they loud.
and some people have, so like our level or our ability to thrive in business and thrive in like our dreams and our goals, that's heavily dependent on our ability to do stuff. And it's heavily dependent, and our ability to do stuff is dependent on um, our ability to regulate and control how we feel, or regulate and control what we do when we feel how we feel. So for some people, their children is their children, like that's their soft spot. So like it doesn't matter what they have planned. If the baby ain't happy, they're gonna go handle that, and that's their choice. That's their choice. Um, and that's a good choice, unless you're not being realistic with how if you're not being realistic with how that is affecting what you're doing. So here's what I mean. If you got a baby, or if you got a child, and your priority is to take care of whatever your child wants and or needs when um, when they're at home, then it's not realistic for you to expect to be able to do 4 hours of deep work. Don't even plan that in your week. Don't even plan that, because your child is the
It's not
priority.
happening.
Your child is the priority. So you got to make your child a priority. So don't put yourself in a position to fail because you want to try to get
Your
or
camera's gone.
can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Sorry everybody. Yeah. You don't want to try to get other stuff done despite your children, if you know that you're gonna have to stop a million times, because that's gonna give you a bad experience, them a bad experience, and your work not gonna get done. You might as well just focus on them 100%. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, you know what? Realistically, this ain't gonna work. Let me just focus on them. So anyway,
Good morning, Mom.
your mama on here?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Tell her hey.
She can hear you.
Oh, hey.
What's going on with your camera over there? What's happening?
It should be okay now. Oh, you can't see me on
I
Zoom.
don't. I don't see you.
My bad.
What camera are you using?
The Osmo. The Osmo Pockets. I haven't given up on it yet.
Oh, looks good.
How's your content been doing?
Uh, we're turning a corner. We're doing good. For the month of January, I repurposed a tutorial series, and now I'm looking to make some different things.
Okay.
What's not okay, Mom? She's talking about. Um, oh, okay, it's working again. Oh, she was talking about your camera. It is working again
Oh.
now. Yeah, so it's technically doing okay. I just have a couple things that I want to, even when you're speaking about like being intentional and having things to record and planning out your day. Like this is my little action journal. I made a dent in it today. I'm very happy with myself today. I made a dent in
What's an
this one.
action journal?
This is just. I like the digital stuff, but sometimes I'm all out of brain. Sometimes I need to write it down as a word like accountability for myself, like personal accountability. So I write down the stuff that I need to do. Most times I can get it written down the day before, but if I don't, at least in that day, I'm like, what is absolutely vital for today to get done? So I had most of this stuff written down from yesterday, and this is the stuff that in this it's for me. It's like it's small enough to be manageable, and I can just set a certain amount of tasks that I need to complete. But yeah, so it's just this is the book that says you absolutely need to do this. Everything else, we're fine. So I
Okay.
like review my emails, look through my text messages, and look through my calendar and be like, this is the stuff that is pressing that you need to address ASAP, and then everything else will eventually come into play. But this is saying, hey, handle this. So this is my little accountability thing, and I like to cross stuff off. So that's how I like to just know if I'm on track or not. And then the longer my list gets and the more things I have to move over to the next day, I'm just like, all right, Abby, get it together. So today was a get it together day because I also knew I needed to be on this call. So I did a lot of stuff in this morning, so I can focus more and have opportunities to. I still got a number of different things to do on this evening, but to be able to prioritize stuff that I want to get better at and continue to navigate and participate in. So I was just like, okay, get it done. No naps today. Went to bed
No
late. It's all good.
naps. Well,
No naps today.
I also want you to use this call as an opportunity. You know, one of the reasons why I wanted us to do this is because um, it's a really easy way to make content. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? So, if you got a rant that's just been on your heart, go ahead. Do your thing.
I'll tell you something that I learned today, though.
Okay.
Something that I learned today is always verify the way that your contractors want to be paid before you send money. Because if there's a misunderstanding or something that is a hiccup on their side that you're unaware of, you get money tied up. And so that was something that I experienced today to be like, okay, before I just, because I was just trying to do my due diligence to make sure that I took care of that person because they're going to be doing something for me. So because I was familiar with a process that we used in the past, I was like, boom, 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 took care of that. And they were like, that's not actually how I want it done, or if there's a problem with that particular process that you made.
That
So now I'm
wasn't
in the
how they.
process of having to try to
Sorry.
something's going on with their banking, and I
So they
needed
didn't want to
to
get paid that way.
be correct.
You just went ahead and paid them the
I
way that you had paid them before.
correct. I just made a transfer, so I was just like, all right, but that's on me in a sense. Yeah, that's on me. I was just trying to knock some things off my list, but I was just like, okay, always verify before you make a transaction so that you don't hold up their money. So that I thought I was doing not necessarily a good thing, but I thought I was like, just trying to handle business and make things sure things get done in a timely way because I always like to get my money on time. And I like to get my money early if possible. But yeah, it was just like, okay,
That's not on
just
you.
true.
That's not on
But
you.
it's something that I want, it's something that I want to check prior to now. That if I do have something, then it's saying, how would you like to receive this money? And being able to give them, like
No,
a time frame.
I would just put in the contract for them to let you know how they want to get paid because it's not if I send you an invoice and you pay with a credit card and I didn't want you to pay with a credit card, why were you able to pay with a credit card if I didn't want that? You understand what I'm saying? So there's enough checks that you need to do in your business outside of trying to figure out how someone would like to receive their money, especially if you paid them in that way before and it's been okay. So like for me, if I want my clients to pay me a certain way, if I don't want my client to pay me via bank transfer, why is that still available to them as an option?
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? Did they send you an invoice?
That's the other thing, because I was just like, I'm just trying to knock this stuff out. I asked for one. I was still waiting for the person to do it, and I was like, Psh, I didn't pay this person before. Boom.
Yeah. You don't get
And
paid. You don't get paid from me if you don't send me an invoice. I love you, but I need a record.
you need, yeah, so I need a
I need a
record. Yeah,
receipt.
and
I need it all.
that makes sense.
So that's
But
what.
it was a learning opportunity for me today to be like, okay, don't pay until you get an invoice, and then the invoice needs to be clear on how they want to get paid because I could have just
That's
avoided that
yeah.
situation.
Yeah, that's the learning thing. Like don't
Yeah.
pay without receiving an invoice. It's not, hey, check with them to make sure it's okay to pay them this way, because that's like, come on. That's what I believe. Do you agree or not?
No, I agree. I agree that It's the system of saying, I'm contracting you. Here's our understanding. Give me an invoice, and the invoice will give me further instructions on how I can, compensate you. So
Yes.
with this particular situation, it was me reflecting on, okay, this is how I could have done that differently, and it's something that I'm going to definitely have in mind or put as a practice moving forward. So I was just like, okay, cool.
Right. Okay, cool.
I need to make some schedules and some shot lists for a couple opportunities that I have coming up. I need to make. I'm doing some recaps for some sporting events, so some things are kind of unpredictable.
Okay.
So how would you approach recapping a sporting event when it's kind of like you're kind of the fly on the wall, but not really. So you're trying to catch action. Okay, so here's the setup. I'm going to follow a university team participating in a triathlon. And so there are three different events. There's the swimmers, the runners, and the bikers. And I'm pretty much following them from the time they get on the bus till they finish the race and celebrate and all that good stuff. I did it last year. It was cool, and I'm just trying to think of other aspects or shots or angles that I can get to make it better.
Shots and angles that you can get of the race, of the situation.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody joining Instagram and YouTube? Put where you from in the chat. So, me and Abby talking about recapping a sporting event. So what I would say is capture everything. Capture everything. Just get full coverage of the event, and then that's one of those things you got to decide on how you're gonna edit it
Right.
after you see the results. Because what if one of them wins? What if they win? If they win, then you can start the video off with a win, and then you can take them back to what led up to it.
I like that.
Or
I
if
think
they
this year I'll do some more interviews too.
if they you should mostly do interviews. I would try to interview everybody on the bus because the interviews is what brings life into the content. You know what I'm saying? Or no? That's how
No,
I
I know
feel.
what you're saying. I got that Pocket 3, so can easily navigate on the bus, get a decent image, and then
Yeah.
make sure I have good audio with that. But that'll be having the Pocket 3 this year will be a big difference. I'm bringing a rigged up situation, but having the Pocket
You
just to be able
bringing a
to.
rig?
I'm bringing a rig. I'm rigging up, making it happen because I there's some stuff I just won't be able to read, so I need to be able to get some decently long shots from because I'm not chasing after them.
That would be some. That would
I'm
be
not.
some good footage to run.
I
Run with
can't.
them.
I'm about to say I can't.
Oh, for
We're
real.
not allowed. And plus, I'm not gonna break myself trying to chase after people who run faster than me. It's not happening. I can catch them. I'll see you at the finish line. But yeah, I think this year being able to have more of the students speaking parts and having the B-roll over it, kind of just on how they prepared or how difficult and how excited they are that it's over or whatever. That would be a nice little editing challenge
Okay.
to diversify some of the things that I do.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I would keep it. Is this like a big project, like dollar
It's
wise?
it's it's no, not huge, but it's more of a hey.
Just
I think sometimes when it comes to the schoolwork, it's just like hey, we just want evidence that we did it, so we can justify whatever. So yeah, they have. I contracted a photographer just to give them photos of the events, and then they'll have that. It's like a 1 minute recap video, and I just want to let people know it doesn't matter how long your recap video is. be it 1 minute, 15 seconds, 30 seconds. There's still a lot of work that goes into it. So please do not approach a project and speak to a videographer or an editor and just believe or think that the pricing is going to be a result of the amount of time that the final product is going to be. It doesn't matter that it's 1 minute, there's still a lot of planning that goes into it, especially if they have to be on site and record and edit and brainstorm and all these other things. So please do not think that just because the final seconds of the final project is under 1 minute or 2 minutes that justifies the cost. It does not, at least in my case. So I just wanted to drop that tidbit on there. There's a lot of things that go into planning and making sure that shots and lighting and sound and all that stuff is good to go. And so approaching somebody and say, hey, I want to do a 1 minute project. And you look at the pricing and you're shocked. It's not because of the 60 seconds that you get. It's all of the hours that were spent before that 60 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. So, to your point, there's a lot of work that goes into producing something that small, but from the aspect of, I would honestly, if someone today wanted a 2 minute video and they didn't like the price of the video and they thought that they could get it cheaper and still get the results they're looking for, I'm in support of them doing that. I'm in support of, because if my stuff is not what you need, I don't know how this gonna sound. It's probably gonna sound terrible, but I like working with people that need me or that like choose me over someone else. And so someone that's looking for the best, someone that's looking for the cheapest way to get a recap video just to prove that it happened, they probably not gonna hire me. And I probably wouldn't recommend them to hire me, because your goal is to get this done for under X amount of dollars. Like, that's your primary goal, which don't make sense to me, but that ain't my business. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got a budget. So like, secondarily, most people want to make sure they can get it done for as little as possible, but that's relative to the overall goal and the impact that they want. So and all of my experience of working with people, the people that I've had to convince to work with me, people I've had to explain to them why it costs what it costs, those people were the most unimpressed with the service. They weren't impressed. They weren't over the moon about it, even though I gave them what I give everybody. But the bottom line is that, let's break this down. If I say, Abby, I need you to repurpose some content for me, I need 90 pieces of money. You say, all right, Ryan, that's gonna be $4,500 a month for me to do that. And I'm like, okay, well, can you give me a pricing breakdown of like what I'm paying for? And you send me that, and I'm like, okay, well, what if now I get into trying to change your process, and I'm like, well, what if you, instead of doing this, we do this or it's been set up. That means that the specific result that you provide isn't something that I'm looking for. I'm looking for somebody to, if I'm having you do all of that, um if I'm wanting to understand, if I'm wanting to try to change your process to change your price, um and you gotta tell me why I need to buy from you, don't go with that client.
You
don't
said
don't
for
I
save
mean, I ain't gonna
yourself.
say don't, because like you might need the money and it might be worth the headache to like go ahead and get that done, because sometimes depending on where you are,
Sometimes.
all money ain't good money, but sometimes not so
Sometimes.
great money get the bills paid. You know what I'm saying?
You hear me?
So
You hear me? I had to contemplate the other day. I was like, ooh wee. I was like, ooh. I was like, if I want to go to the States, I might want to consider this, but I don't know.
all money ain't good money. But all not so great money ain't bad money.
It's just not a great experience.
For real. Mass media said
It's
that
just
didn't
not it's just
sound
not
bad at all.
desirable.
Mass media, what didn't sound bad? The what part didn't sound bad? But yeah. So like sometimes it's like, okay, this ain't good money. It ain't bad money either.
It's
Sometimes you
just a
just gotta
headache.
make an executive
You gotta
decision. But
it's gonna be an expensive headache.
but and let's talk about that part. Like the expense of a headache. So how would you define a headache? A client headache.
Um,
Or a client that's a headache.
I would define somebody that doesn't necessarily has high expectations without the knowledge or the willingness to kind of just like pay it, or even if they do want to pay it, they fuss all the way and they nitpick. People who nitpick are just like, well, can you change this or can you change that? Or the folks that literally like, can you change the music? And you're just like, I don't think you understand what you just asked me. But I don't necessarily enjoy working with clients who, because they have money, think that they can just talk to you any old way. Even if they do pay your price, they kind of just like, whatever. But they
You
are
mean
looser
talk to
at
you
the lips.
disrespectfully?
It feels I take it disrespectfully because it's just like, it's almost like a whatever thing. But then they make outlandish requests, even if it costs them more because they have it. I've never, and even this is even before I got into like media. This is even when I like used to braid hair and all that other stuff. I was like, ooh, feeling, I don't like that feeling. So it's just like, I'm the help. I'm just like, bro, that is rude. The way that you're
So
speaking to me or the expectations is not what I'm here for.
so we got, it feels like you said four different things.
I hear you.
Can you run them back in a list?
Yeah, I do not enjoy working with people who treat me like I'm the help.
What behaviors indicate that they treat you that way?
They'll fuss at the price, but then because they're paying this said price, they feel like it almost feels like they think they own you for that particular time.
Okay.
And the
So
way
they
that they
treat you
speak to you
they
can,
treat you like an employee.
yes.
Okay.
Um, Other ones is when clients are just super nitpicky, where they just pick at everything
Okay.
and they don't either understand or respect the process. Or maybe I mean, and it also can be,
What's
I can take the L on that one to be just
hold,
like, maybe I didn't explain it enough.
one question? Nitpicky, but not trusting the process. Mash Media, hold on. Mash Media said that when I say that they don't need me, they can go ahead and hire the person they want for the price they care about. For sure, I care about them being happy. Okay, if it makes you happy to only pay $100 for this, I can't do it, but there's somebody who can. So yeah, go with them. But back to what you were saying, Abby.
I have another question too here on my side,
Nitpicky.
from Tony.
Okay.
Tony
Okay.
says, "Can the expense of the headache pay for the aspirin to cure it?"
That's a really good question.
I like the
Um,
analogies too. That was awesome.
that's a really good question, and I'm gonna get to that because I have specific thoughts about that. On your list, Abby, number two, you've got um, you've got being nitpicky and not trusting the process. Are those both the same thing? Like, is being nitpicky mean? Does that mean that they're not trusting the process? Like, what means define nitpicky?
Nitpicky is, I've had a client in the past who just pretty much fussed about everything. I don't like this picture. I don't like this image. And at times it was the stuff that they sent to me. Can you make this do this? Can you do this to that? And it might be something that I don't do, or it's not within my wheelhouse. But sometimes people think that because they paid you, that you should be able to do everything that they request. And it's just like, well, no,
So
no, this is my
you can't
particular.
satisfy them.
Correct.
Okay.
It's just like, okay, well, this is not what I do. This is what I do, and if you're not happy with what I have done or can do, you're gonna need to work with somebody else.
Okay. And then what about not trusting the process? That's the same thing to you?
I believe I can also take ownership of some of that because maybe I didn't make my process clear
Okay.
in certain areas. But yeah, when it comes down to it, maybe the people who always want to know, well, when can I get this back? When can I get this back? It's just like, hey, I just saw you yesterday. This is not going to be done overnight. I need time to work on it. But that's also laying things out like, oh, you're going to 7 to 10 business days or 10 to 14 business days before you even get a glimpse of whatever, depending on the job that it is. But it's the people who kind of just have unrealistic expectations. And maybe they're not
Hold on.
unrealistic. Maybe they had an experience where somebody else
Hold
did
on, hold
things
on.
faster. Uh huh.
Hold on. So you're saying
Yep.
that someone not trusting the process or not knowing the process. So like
I
if you
think it's
shoot,
two
they
two
want
sides
it
of the
done
coin.
tomorrow. Okay.
So it's the lessons I go between expressing it, but also the reflections that I've had on it. The areas where I've had unfavorable experiences, and maybe it wasn't all negative, there was something that I could have incorporated a little bit earlier to make that process easier for me. So if somebody was like, "Oh, when am I going to get this?" That should have been on me to say, "You can expect X in this amount of time," so that I don't have to have that conversation. So a lot of things I've still just been learning over the years, so that I can have those boundaries and barriers up to prevent the discomfort that can come from people having expectations that I feel are unrealistic or things that might make me feel uncomfortable.
Okay. So that's no longer that's something that's on you, not on them. Is that what you're saying?
I would say now it is. If it continues to happen, then it's definitely on me.
But first time it happened, it was on them.
I feel like it was,
So like them wanting to know when they're gonna get the stuff. or them
People who are just
wanting,
like,
or
where's
they're
this, where's
wanting,
this, where's this,
or them
or
wanting
change
this.
this, or I don't like that. Yeah, so I say in the beginning, maybe it's not a fault. It is still just a learning process on both ends. All the stuff that I do not enjoy, I have put systems and boundaries within my business to help me not experience that until I find something else that I don't like or something like that. But as a business owner, I think we have to go through things, not like them, and then figure out how we're going to either put something in place to help us not experience that or get in front of it so that the client knows what the expectations are. So things that I might feel are nitpicking might not be what you feel are nitpicking because maybe your process was more clear and you don't experience that. So I won't always point the blame. I can just say that there's some things that I'm just like, don't like this. So what can I do differently to not experience this again? And then if I work with that person again and it's the same situation, even with what I have shown to them, then that's me saying, I don't want to work with you no more. Maybe not like that, but it's just like maybe I just don't have the time or the space or the capacity, or maybe I price them out so that I don't have to work with that individual if it's them.
So my question is, them wanting to know where the content is.
That's just a random example. So I'm not saying that that is
What
the
is that
perfect
an
example of
example?
nitpicking.
So so give me an example, because nitpicky is subjective, so I'm trying to find something objective so I can add it to the list. I'm
So
not.
nitpicky is people sending me images and wanting me to. I had a project to where somebody sent me an example of what they wanted. And the issue was they didn't send me any material that was anything like the example that they wanted. And yet they were kind of fussing at me to be like, well, why doesn't it look like this? This is because what you sent me is not the same material. And if you don't have it, then it won't exist. I can't make it out of thin air. It
Okay.
doesn't make sense.
So that sounds like, to me, that sounds like unrealistic expectation. That example.
Okay.
Is that what it is? And you saying nitpicky, or do you mean something else when you say nitpicky?
No, just when I say nitpicky, it's just them always finding something wrong.
Got you.
And it feels like the project, and when I have to export the project, when you have V1, V2, V3,
So
V4,
that
V5,
kind of
V6,
goes
V6.
that kind of goes over to you can't satisfy them. So it's the same thing. Okay. And then there was another thing. There was another thing in the list that you mentioned earlier. You remember? Because I know it kind of
Nope.
took you down a rabbit hole. Okay. So you don't like when they treat you like an employee. You don't like when you can't satisfy them. And what other things? What are some of the other things that you don't like? And for those watching, are y'all experiencing some of the same stuff?
We have Tony here said, yep, being thorough from the start, set boundaries and expectations. That's our responsibility. So he's just agreeing that we got to put that in place. And he says also, he said, nitpicky, you cut a clip at 1.5 seconds, they come back and say, cut it at 1.4987.
And
So it's
so,
like a helicopter, the helicopter.
okay, so for the for the people that kind of like treat you like an employee, or people that, in my experience, people that you can't satisfy them. So I haven't run into that many people like that, but the people that I have run into like that, they, if you have someone that has to, them paying for your services is a reach for them. Like they literally taking a leap of faith. They don't know if you can do it or not. They just taking a leap of faith, because you do have some people like that. I know in my experience, people that have done that with us have generally been unsatisfied. You can't satisfy them. And sometimes you're not in position to do this, but if you are in position to do this, as soon as I realize that that's who I'm dealing with, and I try to ask enough questions up front to be, to get more clear, so that I can choose more carefully who I work with. But if I realize that this ain't the person I need to be working with, let me just give you your money back and move on. Now, the other side of that, and what was that question I said I would get back to? Can't they pay enough to pay for the aspirin?
Yeah.
So let's think of it two ways. For some of us, there's a dollar amount that you're thinking, well, would I still be mad at them if I just charged them $15,000 for this video? Or $20,000 for this video? Just, in theory. Theoretically, no. Maybe you got a little more patience. Maybe you'll do a few more revisions if they were paying a lot more money. But if they're paying a lot more money, you would also need to provide that much more value to them, right? Or are you charging them to be able to ask you to change the song? You could do that. You could say, okay, well, you get 3 revisions included in your price. Every revision after that costs this much. And when they want to make that third change, you can say, well, it's your last revision, so make sure you please be nitpicky. Please tell me everything you want to change, because this is the last edit that we're doing. And after that, I got to charge you for another edit. Okay? Well, you could do that, and legally, you be able to get your money when they want that 4th revision. And if they are the type of person that went out on a limb to pay you in the first place, or they're that type of person to where like they're kind of cheap or whatever the case is, they will begrudgingly pay for that 4th revision. And if they still don't like it, they're probably not gonna pay again, and they're probably gonna be unhappy, and they're probably gonna not get what they wanted. And you have an unhappy client. You got your money, but you also have unhappy clients affect you, whether you realize this or not. So it's not good enough for you to just charge a client enough to where you won't get mad no more if they're still gonna be unsatisfied or unfulfilled, or feel like they didn't win. So I don't think that's the answer either. However, if you're able to change it from making Mass Media said, nah, for $15K, I don't care about the revisions. But if we didn't focus on how much more we charged the client, but we focused on how much more we made per unit of our time, then it gets a little better. Here's why. My time is worth to my business and to me a lot more um, than anybody else on my team. Right? So if I hired someone for a fraction of what I pay myself, to where the cost of a video is the cost of my video is enough. The cost of that one video is enough to pay the person that's editing the video a few times over. We got a 3 revision policy, but honestly, I don't care how many revisions you need. I want you to be satisfied. And editing it is not my problem. Because here's the thing, we're not getting mad about the 4th revision or the 5th revision or the 6th revision. We're getting mad because we don't want to still be working on this because we got other stuff we want to be doing.
Right.
And the client might take 3 days to even look at it. And we ready to archive this project and move on with our lives. But then we get a text in the middle of the night. We wake up the next morning to a text that says, hey, so I looked at the video. We're almost there. Here's some of my revision requests. And they didn't follow the method that we provided for them to do revisions. And we've got 3 pages of notes that we that we got to reach back out to them to clarify which part of the video they're talking about. Or they send it through a text. Or they send it through so it's not the fact that we got to redo the work. It's the inconvenience of focusing our creativity on that thing again. And that's why we are, because it's affecting our time. So if we eliminate our time being affected, then we eliminate that energy. And if we can eliminate that energy that we get when the client feels like they're being unreasonable, we separate ourselves from all the other creative people that they work with because I got it, yeah. Because that's what they're experiencing every time they work with somebody else. So I said, all right, cool. I don't like the feeling that I get when we send a client a video and they don't like it. How did I fix that? I tell the client up front, you're going to hate the first draft. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but it makes me feel better with them knowing ahead of time they might not like it, okay? Okay, cool. I don't want to do a bunch of revisions, but I don't want it to be a problem because my goal is to get the client what they need. To get my client what they need. So how do I make sure that it's never a problem to do a revision and we can get them back to them quickly? Let me hire editors. Well, how do I make sure that if a client treats me like an employee, it don't feel like I'm an employee? Well, I treat every discovery call like an interview. They trying to figure out if they want to work with me, but I'm trying to figure out if I want to work with them. And there are some signs that there's signs that people don't respect what you do. It doesn't matter if you're a videographer. It doesn't matter if you're a heating and cooling technician. It don't matter. Whatever service you're in, number one, you're in service to people. Okay? So the first step is to check ourselves. Let me check myself and let me make sure that I ain't the problem. That I just don't feel some kind of way every time I gotta go work. Because some people do. If that's the case, they're in the wrong business. On the flip side, you do have people who, when they hire a videographer, especially when they hire a videographer, it's just something about, number one, it's just something about the feeling of having somebody have a camera on you all day. It's you feel important. You feel more important, okay? You know, you already feel important, but you feel more important just naturally. But some people will treat videographers like someone that they contracted like an employee. They do it a lot in Atlanta. People do that. There's a lot now. There's a lot of people. Historically, there's been a lot of people that have done it in Atlanta, and what happens is that person behaves as if they feel like because they paid that videographer, then that videographer is at their every beck and call to do everything. Now, one way to fix that problem is to clarify the scope of what you're there to do and what you're not there to do. The second thing that you have to do is prepare your mind to be, if you're working with business people, prepare your mind to be asked to do something outside of what you agreed to do. Okay? My recommendation is that if you're asked to do something outside of what you've agreed to do, and you're able to do it, my recommendation is to do it. With this one caveat. Let them know when they book you that if you're asked to do anything outside the scope of the work, because you're focused on getting them the results that they need, you're just gonna do it. But there will be a bill that you send for anything that you do outside of the scope of work. And show it to them in the contract. But people do not want to feel like you're not a part of the solution that they're trying to curate. And so if they hire you and they're like, hey, can you get me some drone footage, and that wasn't in the contract, but you got a drone in your backpack, and you're like, hey, so like that wasn't an agreement, that's going to cost this much to do. You can do that. That's fair. That's business. I don't do that because it's just, I don't like to talk money and solutions in the same conversation. But that's just a personal thing for me. In fact, the way I avoid this situation is we're doing the most anyway. You'd be like, hey, can y'all get a drone? I know we didn't ask for it, but can y'all get a drone shot? Yeah, we already got drone shots. Oh. So like, that's my method. But if you don't want to go through all of that, my recommendation is to just let them know up front, hey, when we get on site, I'm going to be super focused on getting you the results that you need. That means anything that y'all need, we're going to do it if you ask us.
Right.
Even if it's outside of the scope of we're what you commissioned us to do, we're gonna try our best to like make it happen. There will be a bill. There will be a bill. I will send you a bill afterwards.
Make no
Now,
mistake.
now, if you work with someone who doesn't have integrity, they're not gonna pay that bill that you sent afterwards, right? And then, okay, well, what do you do then? What do you do well, you can put it in your contract that they'll receive all of their deliverables after the final bills have been paid. But that way, you're not distracted, because here's why I see a lot of people giving bad service is because they do get asked to do something outside of the scope, or they do feel like they're being treated like an employee, or they do feel like the client's not satisfied because they keep asking and asking and asking and asking for stuff. And sometimes the client can't be satisfied, but sometimes they just didn't know, and they just want some extra pickles and mustard. You know what I'm saying? So that you as the shooter are not being distracted thinking about, well, I'm doing this and I'm supposed to be making $400 for this thing that I'm doing, but I'm not making nothing and they asking me to do it for nothing. Well, you've already established on the front end that there will be a bill. So you can rest assured that anything that you do is gonna be paid for, and you can send that final invoice with confidence. If I were you, I would let them know. Um, um, I would let them know ahead of time if they start asking for a bunch of stuff. I would let them know before things start getting outrageous. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know who
Right.
you're working with, and you know what they hired you for. If somebody hired you for a $5,000 job, and they've been asking for stuff and they running up the tab and you at 20K right now, there's gonna be a problem when you send them that.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Guaranteed. There's gonna be an issue. But if you let them know, you need a key contact. So you always want to determine a key contact at an event or whatever you're doing. That's the person that you get to just get real with. So it's like, I need a person that if anything comes up, we can talk to them, and that's the person you go to. And it's like, hey, so we went ahead and got some drone footage. We also drove to downtown Atlanta to shoot a little meet and greet and stuff like that. That wasn't in the original scope. Like I said, we're gonna charge you on the back end for it, but right now you at $1,500. So I just wanted to let you know, yes, we'll bill you at the end. I'm not trying to distract you or anything, but I also don't want to send y'all a huge bill at the end and y'all didn't even know what stuff was looking like.
What was
That
going
person
on?
gonna be like,
Right.
cool, appreciate that. And then they're gonna try to think of what else they need. Okay, well, we also gonna probably need XYZ 123 ABC. So if you can just let us know how much that's gonna cost, then that'd be great. This is happening, y'all. And I'll be like, cool, we'll send you an invoice. Send the invoice ASAP. Figure out how to get it on your phone or whatever for you to be able to create a way for them to give you the money the same day while they excited. Don't wait 4 days to send people an invoice ever. So, yeah. So that's that. I don't know if that was helpful. Does that solve anything that you listed?
I feel like everything is a work in progress, to be honest. And then there's always going to be modifications that you can do with the client, things that you can put in place that can help, not necessarily alleviate, but there's always going to be just new things that you can encounter that you might not have considered. I definitely appreciate your input because I feel like you are well versed in on-site content creation and deliverables. And so I appreciate the fact that you honestly you do it more than I do. But when it comes to things that I do day to day, or even me wanting to get more clients in the various things that I offer, it's great to have somebody who has more experience and can give different insights and things that you can kind of have in your back pocket to make sure that you're taken care of, and just in case you have any future headaches and you need to buy really big, or you just to go ahead and just not move forward with that particular client. I would like next Monday, maybe to have a conversation around the methods that you utilize to not work with certain people.
How do I not
I think
work
that
with
would be a good.
somebody?
Yeah. I'm about to say my time is wrapping up, but yeah, even if you when you do have that first meeting or something like that, and you decide this is not necessarily a good fit, like what are your strategies? Do you say I don't have the capacity? Do you try to price them out? Or do you just say I don't think it'd be a good fit, but just ways to kind of just like either decline, and if there are ways to essentially fire clients if they're not meeting your expectations?
Yeah, that's a 3-minute answer. So if
Okay, just so you know that your camera is off on my end.
my camera is off, oh, hold on,
Yes.
my bad, my bad. Hold on, we had a little situation. Cool. So, if I'm talking to someone, if I'm doing a discovery call with someone and they don't seem like someone that will be a good fit for me, 9 times out of 10, I don't have a way to like get rid of them, because if they're not a good fit for me, then they're not a good fit for the process and they get weeded out. So either they're not gonna like the price, or they're not gonna be in my niche, or one of those two things. Those are the major things. So like I've had calls with people and they wanted us to do something that we don't do. And so we're like, we don't do that, but we'll refer you to somebody. Most of the other people, it's like, okay, there's a certain type of individual who they're not gonna have the patience to go through or answer any of our questions. They don't have the patience. They trying to skip through stuff. I just immediately be like, I just immediately let them know, like, hey, I don't see this being a good fit. I don't think we're equipped to give you what you need. So let me refer you to somebody. And I just refer them to somebody else for 10%. I'll just tell them straight up, like, we can't help you. I don't try to beat around the bush with it, because I don't want to waste their time, and I don't want to waste our time or resources, and I don't want an unhappy client. And a really good way for you to determine whether or not you should work with somebody is, A, is it gonna get the bills paid? B, is this good money? Is this not so good money, or is this bad money? If it's bad money, don't do it. If it's not so good money, think about it. Think about your situation. And then, is this something that, because it's bad money if it's someone who won't let me take them through my process, because my process is required for me to perform. So if they don't have the patience, but they got the money, that's bad money for me. So I can't work with them. So I just let them know. I don't be rude or anything like that. I'll just let them know. And if you feel it, and if you're watching this and you need something to help you transition a little better, you can just be like, well, you can ask them a question that is gonna help you to kind of like back out after that. Be like, oh, okay, well, that ain't us type thing. I can't think of an example right now, but you could do that. But I just let them know, cause I let them know like, yo, I care more about my ability to help you than I care about your ability to pay me. And right now,
Right.
I'm not confident in my ability to help you. So I know some other people who what you're asking for is right down their alley, and I can refer you to those people. Um, and by then, I've probably already understood like how much money they got, because I'll ask somebody, I don't ask them what their budget is, but I'll ask them. Sometimes I ask them, how much have you set aside to get this done? Sometimes I ask them. Um, Sometimes I'll tell them what they're looking for costs, or would cost, or could cost. I give them a range, and if we're out of that range, then we can skip the pleasantries. But if we're in that range, and I refer them to somebody else, I can let them know, like, all right, listen, I'm gonna connect you with such and such. This is the range. This is their budget. This is what they got. If you can do it for that, great. If you can't do it for that, cool. Let me know now, so I ain't gotta waste y'all's time. But if I give a referral, I try to already have the details figured out, because, like, I want my 10%. So that's that. Does that answer your
I
question?
appreciate you, man. Listen, our questions ever really answered, but it's just strategies that I appreciate having. So
Yeah,
that's what
for
we
sure.
got.
Oh, we got some questions on here. I know you got to bounce.
I got like 5 minutes.
I know you got to bounce. We got some comments from YouTube. Let me see. We got some questions. What up, Eric? My boy Eric in here. Mango Mermaid TV been in here. You give them verbal and written. Absolutely. Mango Mermaid TV put it in all caps. You tell them what it's gonna be, and you put it in there. Absolutely. It's really a good practice for you to. Some of y'all have contracts that people always hit you up and ask you about, and you have to like answer certain questions before they're comfortable signing a contract. Some of that stuff you can take care of in the initial call with them, and you just let them know what's up. So part of our process is we sell the raw footage. We include raw footage in the cost of the services. So and we let them know that we own the footage, but in the contract we're transferring ownership to you, and we can still use it for marketing purposes. So that's what we explain. So when they get the contract and they see that part, they don't have to question it, because we already talked about it. Because the longer it takes for somebody to sign and pay, between the time you talk to them and the time they sign and pay, the longer that time takes, the less likely they are to sign and pay. That's why follow-up is important.
I'm gonna bow out, but I'm gonna let you keep your live going.
I'm about to bounce too. I gotta move to the next phase of my life. Thank y'all everybody for joining. We're gonna do around the same time next week. We did a solid hour and a half. That wasn't bad, Abby. Wasn't bad.
Indubitably.
Yeah, we're gonna start at 8:45 next week. Okay. That's the time we have on our
All right.
calendar. Yeah.
I get, yeah, you know that 15 minutes is for tech issues, but yes, we got you.
All right, cool. So we'll get on at 8:30 to fix the tech issues, and then 8:45 we can start. How about that? Have your stuff
Right on.
ready for 8:45. Good night, Abby.
Peace out.
Later.